All right, everybody, I got the recording rolling. We'll get it started here. Mr. Ken Diltz actually requested to kick off the meeting here this morning for us. So, Ken, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Um, I just want to share an inspiration that I've gotten from this. So, a lot of people, you know, some people are in Chambersburg, some people have first floor offices, so they don't come up to the second floor lot. But this has been up for a month and a half. And every time I come in this building, I see this and it inspires the hell out of me. I hear him saying, let's go kick some ass. So, let's go kick some ass. That's it.
Thanks, Ken. We had that photo and it's such a fitting spot, for us. Every day we walk through that door and that's the first thing we see. So yeah, it truly is a inspiration and Poppy loved this topic and was a master of this topic that we're going to be talking about here today. Kind of expanding on what we were discussing last week with getting leads and kind of building your database. Today, we're talking about driving your business through building better relationships. So, with that in mind, everybody knows that their database is a gold mine. So, once you have that database built, you need to work it. You need to nurture your database and build the relationships with the people that you know. And how do we do this? To me, the name of the game is showing the people that you have a passion for them and you really do care. So, you need to start by communicating with them proactively and often. And what are the ways you do this? Well, the first one, was Poppy's favorite, and that's by phone calls. Whether it's quarterly, or bi-yearly, make calls to your database, have conversations with them. Poppy did this endlessly, year after year, not only to friends, agents, and expected nothing in return out of it. He was just providing, this friendship and passion for them. And, that's infectious and it makes people feel good. The other ways you can do this is by handwritten cards, birthday messages, Popeyes, appreciation parties. A lot of these are in the Brian Buffini system, and he's a master of that, working your database and generating business because of it. To me, you need to educate them, not just sell to them. And what are additional ways that you can do that, providing this education and help expertise to them without just selling to them? Well, Bold Trail, or CRM that Remax gives to us for free, they have ways that you can automate market reports in addition to, all these, personal touches that you have to them. You can send them monthly market reports that just gives them insight on what's going on with their home and the market in their area. Additionally, Kong's developed his own system within Bright where he set up home searches with automatic email notifications to himself around neighborhoods or areas where he sold a house. And, anytime a new home gets listed or sold in that area, he's the first to know with that email notification. And it gives him a means of reaching out to him, following up and saying, hey, did you see this one that sold right down the road from you? I think that is a great system he has in place and definitely beneficial and gives them some value, and you're not really expecting anything in return. Other ways you can do this is simple things like HVAC filter change reminders, um, letting them know, hey, it's been about 4 months. You might want to change your air filter on your furnace. Other things, interest rates. Obviously, right now you're selling to clients and interest rates are up from where they were in the last 3, 4, 5 years. If interest rates start going down in a drastic way, maybe a good way is to reach out to them and let them know, hey, interest rates have come down. Maybe it's time to start considering a refinance. This is again, just another tool that you can simply use to educate your database, provide a item of value and service for them. To me, the key is providing this help and expertise without expecting anything in return. I mean, you got to really do this for them, provide service value, and not expect for them to buy something right away or refer you out. Poppy did this for years and years and years, making calls to people that never bought or sold a house from him. And then all of a sudden, maybe it's 8, 10 years down the road, these folks start referring them business. Those folks refer business. It all snowballs. But if you're able to do all this stuff with discipline and the consistency is huge. It's easy to get discouraged when you're doing this stuff and it doesn't start paying out right away. You fall off the wagon, you stop doing it. But if you can do it with consistency, you can't help but grow your business and, reap the gold from that database that you have. Those are the things that I wrote down here to kind of kick it off this morning. I'm going to hand it over to my uncle, and he can take it away from here.
Very good, Brooks. I mean, one of the things that you were talking about with Poppy and not expecting any results or anything from the calls that he made is that when you say about consistency and the calls that he made, consistency builds trust over time. So over time that he continued to make those calls to those people, they actually started to look forward to those calls. Poppy would tell a story every once in a while about somebody that he would call one of our past clients in centers of influence, and they'd be answer the phone and they'd see it's him calling, and they'd be like, "Nope, Gene, we don't know anybody that wants to buy or sell." But then when he changed his approach to the calls and he kept consistent with them, he built trust with them over time. Whereas, like you said, then after you do that, the business started coming in because he developed a better relationship and built a better relationship with those folks over a period of time. And it doesn't happen overnight. One of the important things and I want to get some input from the group at some point here, but that I just want to throw into it is you have to know and understand your audience. You have to know who you're calling and um, understand what their goals are and listen to what they want. You have to tailor your communication to your audience or to whomever you're calling. And the reason I say that, tailor it, and we've had this conversation before, some people prefer messages. Some people prefer emails. Some people prefer face-to-face conversations, and some people prefer text messages or direct messages or, whatever, those type of things. So you have to understand with each client that you're working with, or when they come up in Bold Trail or in Top Producer in your database, what method does that person prefer to communicate with you? And tailor your conversation to them with whatever message works best. Regina and I have this joke back and forth all the time, and I'm a person like Poppy where I like to pick up the phone and call, but a lot of the communication that her family has with her father is through email. That's what he likes. He likes to get up in the morning and read his emails, and so his daughters all communicate mostly with him through email, believe it or not. So understand your audience and understand what type of communication that they want. If you're working with somebody who likes to text message, at some point in time you have to ask them through the text message, can we set up a time to talk? Because maybe they like to text during the daytime, because they're at work and they can't talk. And that's understandable. But maybe you can say, hey, can we jump on a call for 5 minutes, around 5:30 tonight, and at least set a time or set an appointment with them to do that. So again, knowing your audience, trying to build a better relationship is understanding what kind of communication that they prefer. When you're communicating with newer clients, in my opinion, when you're meeting them, and again, everybody might have a different opinion. What's important to me is being honest. Don't just tell them what they want to hear. You got to be honest with them, especially when we're talking about things like the market and how's the market, because the market's going to be different for different people in different areas, and not just locally, but globally. Okay. The market in Florida, they might be flooded now with houses, and the market in Pennsylvania, we still might be short of inventory. So whatever they're hearing in other parts of the country don't necessarily mean that that's the way it is here. So be honest with them about the way it is here. Um, and when you're doing that and being honest, I think that it's important to have some research done before you start these conversations with these folks. So know the information about their neighborhood, the market trends, and as you're building these relationships, know their birthdays, know their anniversaries, figure out what it is that will put you two together that you can have a better relationship and build a better relationship. Morgan, I know you've been awesome at building relationships, and I'm sure going to some of these Brian Buffini events have helped you. And we've talked many times on these calls about some of the things that you do. But what would you say stands out the most as far as what it takes to build a better relationship with your past customers and sphere of influence?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is what it takes to build my relationship with the past, but I always tell people, and I notice this when like my friends or my clients refer me, the first thing that they always say about me is that I'm super honest and you're always going to know like where you need to be. It's not going to always be what you want to hear, but I'm always honest with them. So sometimes that is like, I don't think you should sell your house. I don't think that it's the right time. Or you're going to be bringing money to the closing table, or your house smells like cat, or whatever it is. Like, but I'm brutally honest sometimes and probably overly the top, but and all my reviews reflect that as well. Like that's what people write about me first and say about me. But like I always stand behind what I say. So I will always do what I tell them I'm going to do. And I don't like sugarcoat it, and I put it out there up front. I'd totally rather be upfront with them and lose something up front than to, tell them something that's not accurate and then down the road have to deal with that. So that's where I think I build the trust with people, and people really trust me. And I think that's the most rewarding part is like when I just sold a house to my neighbor's parents, and my neighbors referred me to them, and I didn't know these people at all. And they literally just kept saying like, I trust you, whatever you say. And I'm listening. I just listed their house, their other property, their condo now. And like, they signed the documents and they're like, it doesn't matter. Whatever you say, Morgan, like we trust you. And to me, that's like the biggest compliment I can get is that if they trust me that much, and like, I'm never going to steer them wrong because that is my reputation. But I just think that when you build that relationship with them, they'll put all their trust in you. And I hear it over and over with Sherry's clients. Like they all say, like, we trusted Sherry so much. And if she recommends you, like, we trust that. So it's constant. I think building the trust is really important no matter what. But I guess I kind of take it for granted that, or maybe don't realize that I build so many relationships. I was in a lunch meeting last week with a couple other agents, and we were talking just about leads and how we do business and that kind of thing. And they both looked at me and they're like, well, Morgan, it's written all over your face that you build your business from relationships. So that's just always how it's been for me. I started my business getting involved in organizations that I could give my time to when I didn't have money. And I built relationships that way. So following up, staying connected, You know, I'm not like, okay, today I'm going to make 25 calls. I'm not as like regimented as Poppy was, but if I see something on Facebook, if I see something as I'm driving by, if I'm showing a house in somebody's neighborhood that I sold a house to or that it lives in, I shoot them a message instantly, like, hey, just thinking about you, or something that's funny that happened in our deal that I like came across again. Like I'll send them that, or a memory from the pictures. So like I'm constantly reaching out to people. Like today, one of my past clients, their little twin boys turned 5, and I messaged her and then shot her a text message and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're 5. Like, you know, I just stay on top of all of that when I see it.
Okay, good. And you brought up Sherry Anderson, and one of the things that you brought up with her and the relationship she had with her customers, and some of the things that I know that she did was a while back, she started supporting local businesses. And with those businesses, she was doing some videos. Her first videos were of local businesses and at local business and supporting them. And we've noticed, and I'm sure you've all noticed, that there's a group of people that will share your information, like share your listings that you might post, whether they're photographers or whether what type of business they're in. Home inspectors are sharing our listings, photographers are sharing our listings, you know, and we need to do the same with them, because when you tag somebody or you support somebody and they're supporting you, it's helping to build a better relationship for you and your customers. And I know Sherry did that before. I had lunch with an agent last week, and she was telling me that she attends a lot of the R4 events out in Vegas with Remax every year. And part of the reason that she attends those, and like this agent and Jennifer King out of the Lancaster area, they go to those events because they have met lots of, in fact, I think Bob Hubler does this too, that at these events, they have met multiple people over the years that they can refer business to, and they refer business to them. So it becomes another lead source, not just building relationships with customers, but building relationships with other agents out of the area that can refer business to you and stuff. And it definitely works for a percentage of business each year. Kara, how do you go about building great relationships with your customers? Because I know you do the same thing. You know, your people love you, and what is it that you think sets you apart with how you build relationships?
Well, I think that Morgan really hit on a lot of it, and so did Brooks. Whenever he said it's just the connections. And something that I was reading this morning is consistency is what transforms average into excellence. And I read that in something that I was reading online, and I thought, isn't that true? I mean, if we are all consistent, there's no way, and I tell the group, there's no way you can fail if you're consistently doing good. And then Brooks said something that Poppy, thought and was doing. He didn't expect anything in return. That is the biggest nugget that you can take. You just do things just to be kind and generous. It just follows you. It just dumps on you whenever you least expect it.
Good, good. Um, Aaron, are you there? We should still on the call. Can you unmute? So you're in the process, or have been, as you're trying to build business with the title company, of joining network groups. And I remember listening last week to Steve Voorhees talk about how he likes to be involved in network groups who are actually going to refer business to each other versus network groups that you're just handing out a business card at a social event. How are you, or what is your game plan to build better relationships with some of these networking groups that you're getting involved with?
So the one that we had talked about, Brent and I had just talked about, is just joining the West Shore Chamber of Commerce. That's, a ton of people are familiar with that. But it at least gets us in, and we can go to these different events if we want and just meet different people, because without being out and about, if you're just stuck in the office or you're just doing your same routine, you're never going to meet people. And, title is definitely a hard field, just like, property management too, because if you're not out there, people don't know that you do it. Like they always say about secret agents. Title is also a referral business as well. So we've been working with more and more investors and just trying to build better relationships, with their agents and stuff that they've been using. But yeah, the first one we're going to try is, just the West Shore Chamber. If anybody has any suggestions, the problem is there's so many groups out there, and you don't want to waste your time going to these weekly things or, something where you're not going to get anything from. Um, but the first part is just to network, to meet people.
And when you do that, you can also develop your own little mastermind networking groups where it doesn't have to be some major organization. You can find 10 people in 10 different industries, whether they're in the insurance business or the car business or any sort of other businesses you want. Get those 10 people together. They don't have to be realtors. They can be from other industries so that you can send them business, they can send you business. Think about car dealers and car salespeople and how many people they see, you know, and the people that they might know, that type of thing. The same with insurance agents. So build your own networking group out of people you feel you can get business from and you can give business to. Joe Schutz, what are you doing these days? I know you practice the Buffini system too, as far as to try to build better relationships. We've talked about it over the years. I know one of the biggest things you do is the pie giveaway at Thanksgiving, and you know how much your folks appreciate it and look forward to it. Is there anything else that you do as far as building up to that giveaway that you do at Thanksgiving?
Well, I think that the people who have spoken have already nailed it. It's all about I mean, you could do any number of things, okay? But consistency is the key. If you don't touch, not literally, but speak to or communicate with your advocates, um, they're not going to remember you. So you gotta be top of mind. Um, I know I'm going to piggyback on the ice cream event that's happening that the office is doing. You get 20, 25 people who come out. You get FaceTime with them. They think you're a superstar because um, they're eating ice cream and they're talking with you, and it's just nice. Um, but everybody, everything that's been said today is right on point. You just got to pick whatever works for you. But the key is being consistent, and we can all do better. I know when I get busy, my consistency drops off. Tim, you gave me um, a card that I gave your dad. I have it framed and I have it sitting at eye level that I can look at to remind me of being consistent and just one day, I don't want to turn this into like a 12-step meeting, but one day at a time. Just do it one day at a time. If you can make 5 calls, 10 calls, 15 calls, whatever it is, just do it that day and stay until it's done. Or do it first thing in the morning and just being consistent and touch those people and good things happen. So just being consistent is the most important thing in my mind.
Thank you. You know, the last thing I would want to share until anybody else has something too would be building better relationships. You can start out by being more visible on social media. And, being more visible on social media, you can share real estate tips, community highlights. You could, again, support other local businesses. But one of the things that I think that's important, and I don't see a lot of people doing, I see a lot of people after someone taking a picture under the Remax sign or another company's sign. But what about these short 30 or 60-second videos of there at that sign and having those people at the time that they're the happiest point of the transaction at the closing table give you a review right there that you could immediately post on social media because remember they're super happy at that closing table. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Kara, did you and I talk about that last week, or was I talking with Shelley about that? But just getting a video review from the people while you're with them right after closing, because they would be like, oh my gosh, Kara worked her tail off. She did a great job. We would never use anybody else but Kara, that type of thing. Because when people, in my opinion, when people would see that, they would be like, wow, that, they were really happy with her. I don't know. Does anybody agree with that or disagree with that? Just throwing it out there, because it's one thing I don't see a lot of people doing is a video referral or recommendation or review right after closing. Anybody want to comment on that?
I think that's a great idea, Tim. And knowing marketing and I mean that was my studies, of course, but that's a great idea. You and I didn't talk about that, but video is truly, I mean, the one of the highest. I mean, you're hearing it and you're seeing it, right? So, I mean, that is something that has the most impact on a consumer, versus just reading it or just hearing it if it was, say, radio or something like that. But that's why television ads and things like that have always been so costly. Another thing is somebody mentioned about not expecting results immediately. I think that's so important. Don't feel like these events or whatever are a waste of your time. One of the largest businesses as far as marketing budget is auto dealerships. And you touched on auto dealerships. They'll spend $200,000 a month in advertising budget. And see them have billboards often, like XYZ Honda or whatever. Well, that doesn't mean that as I'm going down, and these are smart people, right? They spend a lot of money and they target it. That doesn't mean that I'm going to buy a Honda or a car today. But if you plant that in someone's mind, I'm not saying a billboard, I'm not saying go out and buy billboards. These are folks with larger budgets, perhaps, that do that. But I'm saying plant the seed, because then whenever that person has a need for what we offer, hopefully they'll think of you.
Yeah, good. Anybody else?
Can I just say one thing about that? One of my follow-ups is after a closing, I'll send an email that day. I have a Google business page. It doesn't cost you anything to set up a Google business page. I refuse to support Zillow in any way, shape, or form. So I have a Google business page, and I send my customers a link to give me a review, and I've got 40 reviews, or I don't know, whatever it is, the number is. But it's like you have people who are advocates for you, who, if you've done a good job for, they're willing to support you. People, you can use those 5-star reviews as part of your marketing. Like, go to my Google me. Okay. If you're curious as to what people think of me, Google me. It may be tougher to find the Facebook video, though it's a good thing, but the Google reviews will be there until, I don't know, till Google's gone. But at least then you got an archive of 5-star reviews, or however good of a job you did, that you can always say, hey, if you're curious as to how good of a job I do, Google me, and you can see all your 5-star reviews. That's all.
Yeah. Great idea. Yeah. Bob Huber, anything you'd like to add to the building of the relationships?
No, just being out and being seen. Just, like like I said about the secret agent and stuff, but just helping people out, because sometimes people will call you up and it's like, I know you're busy, and it's just like never too busy to help somebody out. But sometimes that some of the help that you give somebody might not put dollars in your pocket today, but it might tomorrow. So,
Right.
so
I just have watched you over the years travel all over the country to these seminars to have these relationships with these people to send you business. And you've spent a lot of time and a lot of money doing that, and it's paid off very well for you. And you know, but that's what you did. You were a master at building those relationships for your business, that one section of your business. Yeah.
yeah, I'll be going all around Pennsylvania today here, leaving here shortly, gassing up the Prius, gonna run the gas through it.
Okay. Brooks, anything else you'd like to add or Kong before we close it up for today?
Just you know, we touched on it already, but that ice cream social coming up is a great way to give value to your clients and give them free ice cream and stay in touch and be top of mind. We also will have, things in the fall and towards Christmas with the photos with Santa. Just use the stuff that we're offering to you guys for free, to help build these relationships. Take advantage of that.
It's
Con,
funny how you
anything
said
else?
that with the ice cream. I remember last year some of the people that attended that event and would come and they were so appreciative of it and looking forward to getting that invite that they want to come. And a lot of these people have sent us business in the past. Then you have a whole different demographic of people that came because they have kids
Mhm.
and it's free ice cream for their kids. So now we're supporting their families and letting their kids enjoy ice cream and that kind of thing. So seriously, take advantage of what we're going to do for you with that event and invite people that you know to come get free ice cream. So,
Yeah,
yep.
I was talking to Tom Schlednick because he got some postcards to send out, and I'll send another reminder this morning that we have these postcards. Or if you just want to, I'll have an image in there if you just want to, share it with, via text with a couple people. But I said, yeah, like anybody that has kids and stuff. And I was like, well, actually, I love ice cream. I mean, I want ice cream every night. So I don't know why we gear it just for kids, but it's great for families, but it's also good for, your older couple that you just sold a house to or that just retired or whatever. I mean, everybody loves ice cream and just to come out and get some free ice cream, it's awesome.
Yep. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate the participation again in the call on building better relationships, and we'll talk to you next week.